Welcome to Talking with Famous People. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People, Zachary, and I have famous person Delilah. And
Hi.
I'm going to interview her to see what her cognitive faculties are. So tell me, when you aren't talking and listening to someone, what are you thinking about?
Um, that's kind of a vague question. What do I think about? Probably talking or listening to other people.
I mean, like,
Like, I
when you're
think
not doing
about
that.
social interaction.
Like, when you're not listening, like, if you're just alone, what are you thinking about?
Um, I don't know, social interaction, most likely.
Like, when you're next.
Or,
What about it?
um, I'd say plans, keeping myself occupied,
Hmm.
generally. I'm more like, I'll be thinking about, like, I don't know, my mind's never, like, I guess calm. Like I'm always constantly thinking about like plans for like the future, like the immediate future or like the extended future, or or like how I'm gonna like be occupying myself pretty much.
Do you think about your relationships with other people often?
Yeah, I do.
What are you primarily interested in? How they perceive you, how you view them, or what?
I'd say I place a heavy value on how people perceive me. Probably too much value on that. Um, I I do focus a lot on getting people to like or shaping people's perceptions of me, I guess. But also, I'm very focused on other people and how I perceive them. But I generally tend to not initially have a lot of problems with people, so I don't really have to worry too much about like my perception of other people. But I'd say that more often than not, I'm worrying about how they perceive me. I'd want to say.
What makes you feel nostalgic?
Um, like what's like well, I guess various forms of entertainment, like playing a video game I used to play, or reading, coming across a book I used to read, or uh, yeah, I'd say books and stuff like that. Sometimes like food that I would eat like in a certain period of time in my life more often, like if I eat it again. Um, yeah, that would be nostalgic about that, I guess.
How much significance do you hold your memories to?
Like, what do you mean?
Do you think your past experiences are important to how you um, do you relate your past experiences to your current experience often, or is it primarily uninterested?
Yeah, no, I do. I think that a lot of my experiences in the past shape like a lot of the way I think and act today, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. How do you how do you want to come off to other people? How do you want people to perceive you?
Happy, likable, uh, outgoing, I guess. I portray myself as a very happy person and friendly and generous, and first impressions are probably my forte. Following that though, like continuing to hang out with like certain people repetitively is when they tend to like shape their like opinion on me more. But I'd say that I like people to perceive me initially as like an open and welcoming person and not someone who's standoffish or someone like you have to get to know more to like shape an opinion on them.
I see. Um, what is your ideal conversation? What do you enjoy talking about with people and discussing?
Um, hmm. I guess I really enjoy talking about like things that I'm that kind of like interests me, I guess, like in the sense that like when I find someone, which this doesn't happen super often, but my ideal conversation, I'd say, is finding someone like who understands like and has the same questions about like um I guess the world that I do. That sounds kind of like vague, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I really enjoy talking about like ideas of like creation, and I really enjoy talking about like politics and like religion, even though it's like a touchy subject. But my ideal conversation is to find someone like who has the same like views as me in general, and like kind of express and like understand like, oh, they know where I'm coming from more. I don't like conversations that are more like surface conversations. Like I don't like talking. I mean, obviously, like I'm a girl. Like I inherently enjoy like gossiping and like listening to like things that girls like to talk about, but that's not my ideal conversation. Like that's not what I'd love to continue talking about with like a person for a long time.
I see. Mm, would you rather understand the facts of something, or would you rather understand the system or the underlying framework of what you're perceiving?
Mm, can you like rephrase that?
Yeah. Uh. Like when you're introduced to. Hmm, is it important for you to understand how things work? Would you
Yeah,
would you say that's
I'd
important to
say.
you, and why?
Why is it important to understand why things work? Sorry, you cut out for a
Yeah,
second
yeah.
there.
Why is it important for you to understand how things work primarily?
I think that understanding like the facts of something is like the only way you can really make like an accurate form like an accurate opinion or make like an accurate argument. For example, like this is just kind of like a more general example, but like when I'm talking about something like something controversial maybe, if I don't know every single like aspect of it and I feel like I don't know all of like the sides to an argument, I won't want to talk about it because of the fact that I mean, I just think that it's sorry, he distracted me. Um I think that the facts are probably more important than just like learning. I'd say yeah. I value facts more than like the underlying framework
Do you think the
and the
framework predate? Do you think it? Which do you think comes first, the framework or the reality or facts of something?
I'd say the reality or facts of something because you have to understand that for well, actually, yeah, I mean, I'd say that you'd have to understand like the reality of things before you can form a framework upon it. Like you can't just go throughout the world having like a certain way of thinking about things without knowing the situation first. I'd say.
So you would say that the realities come before the framework.
Yeah,
Uh, do you view things as just or unjust? Well, I'm reading off False Guy's comment. Do you see things as wrong, right or wrong, like your dad? Why? I didn't know that Eric.
yeah,
I guess Eric saw stuff as like. I guess he sees things as
yeah.
just or unjust. By what standard do you hold things to being right or wrong?
Well, like justice, I'd say me and my dad are very similar in that aspect of like it's not just like clear cut like right and wrong, obviously, but I see things as like more like case by case basis. Like he is definitely different. Mm, I guess sense of just and unjust than I do in certain ways. I think I'm a lot more lenient than he is. Like for him, things are a lot more clear cut. Like something's either wrong or it's right in a lot of cases. And I also think he's at least more harsh than I am when he thinks something is unjust. But I have a very like strong sense of like I want justice. I'd say like if I feel that there was like a miscarriage of justice in this in like a situation, I feel very strongly about it, I guess. But
how would
yeah.
you deal with it if you receive something that's unjust?
Um well, it would depend like what the situation was. But I mean, I definitely like well, I saw like the little thing at the bottom which I just noticed and someone said I would root for the underdog, which is true. I would. Sorry, I just noticed that there are words down there.
Yeah, that's she's
So,
been like asking or False Guy has been asking questions and I've been kind of like some of them I've used, some of them I've rephrased.
oh, sorry, I didn't even know what I just noticed it right now.
Do you feel like wait, do you feel bad that you weren't putting attention toward the chat and the other people who were
Yeah,
participating?
I do. I do feel bad about that.
I see.
I should feel bad. Thank you. I do.
Yeah, describe what you like about your closest friend. Do you have a closest friend and
Um,
why are they
I
your closest
do.
friend?
I have my closest friend is April. I think the main thing that made us become friends is our sense of humor. We have a very unique sense of humor. As I'm sure you guys know, my dad's sense of humor is very eccentric and dark humor, but it's strange. And I get a similar sense of humor from him, but my best friend April and our sense of humor kind of like brought us together, and we've been best friends for like 4 years, because we've just like throughout high school, like since like the start of freshman year. But now I think one of my favorite things about her is that if I tell her about bad shit that I do, like unethical stuff, unethical things that I do, like not necessarily something that I'm proud of, she's very supportive, not like encouraging, but supportive in the sense that like if everyone else is making me feel shitty about it, I don't want my best friend to, and she's like there for me in that sense. Yeah, she doesn't judge because I mean, well, she does bad shit too, but it's just like she just inherently is not a judgmental person towards me. And I also think that I feel special because she and I are both judgmental towards other people in certain cases, but I generally like to think of myself actually as not a very judgy person. But towards each other, we're very like open and like we can talk about literally anything, and like she is supportive of it, and I'm supportive like likewise to her. I'm supportive of her as well. So I think I'd say that like the support and the similarities, like our humor, our sense of humor, is probably like the reason we're really close.
How important is it for you to receive emotional support from friends?
Can you say that one more time? It was like splotchy.
How important is it for you to receive emotional support from friends?
Very important, I'd say. Because well, the thing is, it's less emotional support because I feel very strongly like if I feel something that I do is like like right, and or if it's like I've been going through like a tough time, I if I have at least like one person supporting me, be it like a friend or like my dad or my stepmom or something, then I probably am okay. But it's less emotional support and more like support in general, just like being there for me, even if they don't know what's going on. Like, just even if like if there's like a situation and they have no idea what's happening, if they're there for me, like literally just hanging out with me is just enough for me, really. I think I'd say I enjoy the support of like having company more than I do a need for emotional support from them. But I definitely do need emotional support in general from at least someone. And yes, I would implode if I didn't talk. I talk a lot. It's really bad. But I do like to bounce ideas off a lot of people. Like I like to get things out because if I feel like something I'm thinking is strange, and I say it to someone like April, who's my best friend, or like another friend that I have named Miguel, if like I talk to them about it, they understand what I'm saying, and if there's like an agreement there, it's like something that I kind of it's like an assurance that I need. Like I really do need to like always be talking, and yeah, I do. Okay, I'm done talking now. I do feel very creative as a creative person, but I'm done. Go ahead.
No, elaborate on the creative part. You consider yourself creative. In what ways do you express that creativity?
Well, I'm not a talented person when it comes to like anything. I'm not good at art. I'm not good at like music stuff. My dad's definitely a lot more musically talented than I am. But I feel that I'm good at writing, and I express my creativity through writing, and I express it through argumentation. I want to say, which is a strange outlet of to let out your creativity. I want to say because I just think that, in my opinion, the best way I can express myself is through my arguments. Like I feel like I can generally come up with like interesting points that people don't generally come to think of. Like it might sound bad, but like as fast or like as I do, kind of. And so I feel like that's like the biggest platform through which I express my creativity. Um,
Is it important
yeah,
for you to convince people through argumentation?
extremely, yes.
Do you want people to agree with you?
Wait, can you say it one more time? Sorry.
Do you want people to agree with you?
Yeah, I do. I really do. It really bothers me when people don't agree with me. Not on like when it comes to like politics. Well, not when it comes to like religion kind of stuff. I'm pretty lax on like religion kind of stuff. But when it comes to like matters of justice and injustice, or a lot of social matters, if someone doesn't agree with me, it really does bother me because I think it shows like inherently how their character is, and so it's less an issue of them agreeing with me and more an issue of I see like that's
Them
not
not being
cool.
morally perverted, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which is kind of like it's essentially like me saying like, oh, my opinion is right in that sense, I guess. But I find it important. Yeah.
hmm. Um.
No, I'm not sporty at all. I'm very I've never been good at sports. I'm a very slow runner. I'm not athletic.
Let's say, let's say you have let's say your dad is telling you to clean your room, right? He's trying to make you do house chores. How do you generally perceive that?
Well, strange, phenomenal. He's never asked me to do house chores really
Well,
or clean my room.
let's take Candace then.
Okay, okay, there you go. Well, I generally would listen, and well, our house is kind of a wreck, which I will take like 75%, like 50. I'll take 50% credit
That's
for
how
our
I
house
fold
being
my
a mess.
clothes. So I feel you.
Well, I mean, I don't know, like my room's pretty damn messy. Like I have a queen bed, and there's literally only room for me on my bed because of so much shit I have on the other
You just
side of my
like
bed.
push
But
that shit
anyway,
to the side when you go to sleep.
yeah, exactly. It's really bad. I don't like people over because of how messy my room is. But if Candace were to tell me to do house chores, I really don't like it, and it's not necessarily because I won't clean or I won't listen to her, but it's more that I just don't like being told what to do, and it sucks because sometimes I'll like be planning to do something, and this happened when she lives here, but I'd like let's say I'd be planning to take out the trash, and like I'd be about to go get up and do it in like 15 minutes, and she comes into my room and says, "Oh, go take out the trash," like. Some part of me goes, no, Delilah, you do not want to take out the trash now. Like, don't. Just like you have to disobey. And just because I'm being told what to do. And so if I clean on my own accord, I'm a lot more happy with it, and I can probably get a lot more done. But if someone else is pushing me to do it, then I won't do as good of a job, and I won't like it at all.
Hmm. How would you prefer someone approach you if they were going to ask you to do some chore or job?
Yeah, like this person said, it needs to be my idea. So like present it more as like a suggestion. Or no, I think what this works my dad does. Now I don't know if he does it on purpose or if he does it subconsciously, but sometimes he'll be like, oh hey, like I think I'm gonna clean up the kitchen a little bit. Maybe I'll put away like the dishes, or I'll do the dishes, or I'll do this, blah blah blah. That makes me want to be like, hey, like I should probably clean a little bit too, because every time he says he's gonna clean something, I find myself cleaning something as well. So it's like, hey, like that's a good idea. I'm so glad I thought of that. Like I'm gonna go clean now. But if he were to be like, hey, you do the dishes and I'll do this, I'll be like, nah.
My parents resorted to like they'll like say like, "Oh wow, I was cleaning the dishes the other day and I just felt so it felt so therapeutic. It was like very methodical and rhythmic. I like it a lot." And then I start thinking like maybe I'll try that. And they ruse
What?
me into doing chores. They ruse me.
Yeah, I mean, I I know I'm the same way. Like because my dad says the exact same things. Like, oh, I think we just need to clean the house. Like if there's like a period of tough times, like if we're having a lot of conflict, me and my dad, it's happened before where he'll be like, oh, I think we just need to clean the house. Like once the house is good and clean, like we'll feel a lot better. And he's right. Like I'll feel better after I clean, and it makes me want to clean. Even talking about this right now makes me want to go inside and clean my room. But I'm not going to. But I kind of want to now.
Do you find you conflict with your father often?
Um. Yeah. Um. I'd say yeah, but it's not anything serious, and it's not like how like have conflict with other people. It's more like a kind of thing that like we don't disagree on a lot of things, but it's more like he'll get me to try and do something, and I won't want to do it, and he gets mad for it. Which understandable. I don't blame him at all. Generally, when we get into conflicts, I don't blame him. It's more like it's just something that I have to deal with. But luckily, my dad and I both are we I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, we both don't hold grudges, so we'll get over things really quickly, and we're like good afterwards. So I don't see it being a huge issue.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Um, Hopefully something to do with psychology. I would love to study like I like to study like the science and like childhood events leading up to people who um, uh, are addicted to drugs or have addiction problems. I like to find out like because I think that like the main factors in like the way you are as an adult are like heavily based on like how you were treated as a child, which is like super obvious. But I'm very interested in like causal and effect like if of later life like how you're treated as a child, like how that has an effect on like if you're addicted to drugs or if it's more of a biological thing. So I'd like to work in some sort of like rehabilitation center, hopefully something in that genre.
Do you feel people's environments have a how significant of an influence do you think people's environments have on their behavior?
Um, like environments as a child or like environments like currently.
In general, parse it actually. Tell me your answer to the children one, and then overall.
Um, I definitely think the way you were raised, I mean, is like the most fundamental, has the most fundamental effect on how you are as an adult. I definitely think that, but I also think that your environment now has a great effect on you too because I've noticed it like my environment has changed so much and so dramatically over like the course of the last couple of years because first my mom and my stepdad got a divorce in October of not 2015, 2014, and then my dad and my stepmom got a divorce in August of last year, and both were very significant changes in my life. And I think the environment here changed most dramatically over that divorce, because after Candace moved out, like our house kind of like it's a lot messier, I'd say. So like a literal like change in environment in that sense, and also like just the way how things are different without Candace living here, and I think it's allowed me to kind of like grow up a little bit because I have to like take care of myself more, and whereas like she would remind me about things a lot more, like just little things and things that have to do with school and stuff, but I felt as though, I mean, I don't know. Those are just very obvious changes, but I think that the most effect is from how you were raised and the environment that you were raised into adulthood. I think that definitely has like a huge effect on how you are. Like more than people can really imagine.
Would you consider yourself an emotional person?
Yeah, but I think that even though my emotions heavily affect my decision making and the way I perceive things, I also think that above all, I try at least to hold, I'd say, like logic and like general like facts above everything else. Like I'd say I'm more of an emotional person because of the fact that I'm a 17-year-old girl, and that's not gonna like that. I think it's something that I might grow out of, and I don't think it's something like about like the whole personality typing thing. I think that that really affects it. That I'm still growing up and I'm still in high school and I'm a girl. And I'm not trying to be any sort of like, I'm not trying to be misogynistic in any way. Girls are a lot more hormonal and emotional than guys are, and I'd like to think that I hold like logic to a higher standard than my emotions, and I try not to let my emotions get in the way of like actual facts and like what's actually going on.
Right. Um. Well, I'm pretty convinced you have FE and TI as faculties. Um, One of the biggest things that told me you had FE was the fact that you felt bad that you weren't aware of the chat and that there were other people in here. That's a big FE thing. TI, the logic. I'm more convinced you have SI than SE, and that's what leads me to believe you have NE and NI. You sound like an ENTP to me. You sound a lot like. I wouldn't say you sound a lot like Eric, but there are certain things about your personality that remind me of Eric. Oh yeah, what are the ways you spend your time that your dad thinks is not useful?
That my dad thinks isn't useful. School. He doesn't think school is useful at all. Yeah. Um, I think he thinks that my social interaction is useful in a different way. I don't think he thinks it's necessarily super important, but I think he knows and understands that it's something that I'm like as like someone who's growing up, I need to experience. But I don't think he sees it as not useful. But he's definitely blatantly told me that he doesn't think, like if I say something like, "Oh, I have an essay due tomorrow. I don't want to do it." Like just don't do it. Like why do you have to do
I have a
it?
bad habit of telling people that advice too.
Me too. It's really bad. I really am a bad influence when it comes to like doing schoolwork. I think it's all trivial and not necessary in general.
Yeah, I have a bad habit of when people come to me like complaining about something. I always am just puzzled as to why they're complying if they don't want to do it, and it always it's it's
Yeah.
it's foreign to me that some people just like innately feel, I don't know, that like they have to do things. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
there are some things you have to do,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's
No,
like
I can
there's sort of like a
I can
contrarian aspect to NTP types. I think.
yeah. No, I completely get under like agree with what you're saying. Like people people will complain about something so much that if I like genuinely felt so strongly about something, I would not do it.
Mm.
And they complain and like they'll bitch about it for forever and then do it anyways. Like there's no way I would be able to like
I would convince
let something like that.
myself it's not worth it.
Exactly, exactly. Like for example, I have this essay that was due, or a research paper, a 5-page research paper that was due like in April. No, it was like late April, so like a month ago. But if I don't turn it in, I'm gonna fail my humanities class, and I haven't even started it. And it's like I've convinced myself it's not important so much, and my humanities teacher literally took me to the side yesterday and said, if you had gotten 100% on every single assignment besides this essay, you might pass with a D minus. And she's like, but since you haven't, you have to turn in the essay or you're not graduating high school. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do that at some point. But I have I have not been a very good um, self motivator, I guess. But yeah. Besides that,
When does your
I'm
school end?
generally
When does class or
huh?
when does the semester end for you?
Well, we take finals. We end finals like next Wednesday, and then we graduate on June 10th. Or no, I think we end finals next Thursday, and we graduate on June 10th, which is not next Friday, but the Friday after. And then I'm done. So my last day of school is like next Thursday, I want to say.
You should probably get that essay done.
Okay, I have 9 days. Because school for non-seniors, ends on the day before we graduate, or the day we graduate, I don't remember. So I have until like June 9th or June 10th. So I'm okay.
Give me a
I'll
second.
do it on.
Well, actually, I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. I'm pretty sure you're an ENTP. I mean, I think that the people in the chat would agree. Um, you display a lot of TI and FE, and I can tell you're any because you're just kind of bouncing from idea to idea and topic to topic, like it just comes with ease. But yeah, I think you're an ENTP for sure. I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. Thanks for watching Talking to Famous People.